Hey, it's Michelle here from foodslang.com. And today's video is, of course, about this week's episode. And this week, we're talking about seafood. If you eat seafood and you enjoy seafood, you should definitely listen in. Or if you know someone who loves seafood, you should listen in because it is, of course, eye-opening. I know that every episode isn't the most encouraging information. Doesn't make you feel good about what you're eating because there's a lot of stuff that goes on in our food supply chain, and it's about being informed and staying informed and getting really good information. So I appreciate everybody who's listening in. Thank you to all my donors and my patrons who make it possible for me to continue to do this, what I consider very important work. So that said, this week I found out something that I didn't know, and that was that our country, the United States, there are fisheries that produce seafood. They catch wild-caught seafood, and there's also farm-raised fish that's produced in the United States. And what happens is that some of that actually gets shipped off to China to be processed, and then it gets shipped back to us for distribution and consumption. Did you know that? I didn't know that, so that was a surprise to me. And it seems really, dumb that we do that, because not only is it, that's my opinion, right? Forget my opinion. Beyond my opinion, it's ineffective. It's not sustainable. It's not cost efficient. Like there's nothing really good about it. Not to mention that there's enough unemployed people in the United States at this point, right? There's so many unemployed people that need jobs. Why can't people in this country do that work? Why do we need to send our fish to China to get processed where there are little to, if any, any oversight, regulations, anybody making sure that things are done safely? I don't understand why we have to do that. And so that was very eye-opening to me. I don't know if you knew that, but if you didn't, I'm curious to know what you think about that. So leave a comment in the comments below and let me know what you think about that, because that's really concerning. There's a lot of unemployed people. It's bad enough that our fish industry globally is pretty toxic, as a general kind of term. And if you listen to the podcast, which goes live tomorrow, you'll hear about what's going on in our seafood supply chain. It is environmentally challenged. It is challenging our health, our minds, our brains, our central nervous system. And it's economically kind of corrupt, in a lot of ways. There's a lot of illegal, unregulated seafood that's being imported into the United States, and the problems that come with that are many. And so I hope you listen into the podcast and share the episode with somebody that you love or somebody that you know who enjoys eating seafood, who likes seafood. And, this episode was actually requested by a listener. So thank you, Donna, for suggesting that we talk about seafood, because it really, I learned something, and I hope that you learned something too. So that's really it. I leave the question to you, because it's not about my opinion. It's about the facts. It's about understanding what's actually happening to our food, because we trust a lot of these companies. We trust a lot of the producers. In one of the things that I found out recently is that the CEO of Bumblebee Tuna was convicted and sentenced to 40 months in prison, and for price fixing. And if you don't know what price fixing is that's when a company colludes with their competition to raise prices simultaneously, as opposed to letting the market dictate or basing price increases on actual, real information, like cost of goods sold, or your inputs and how expensive those are. And it's just really disheartening. But the good news is that he got busted. So there's that. So anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it. I throw it out to you. What do you think about sending our seafood to China for being processed, only for it to come back here so that we can eat it? I think it's ridiculous, to be honest. But again, that's my opinion. My opinion aside, I'd love to hear yours. And, thank you for listening in. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you subscribe to this channel. Head on over to foodslang.com and sign up for the newsletter so that you get exclusive podcast updates every time there's a new podcast or even a bonus podcast. There's a couple of bonus podcasts coming up in the next couple of weeks. So I really hope you tune in. And until the next time, you know what I'm going to say. Remember to eat clean, eat healthy, and love your food and love each other, especially right now. Okay? Share this with somebody you love. And I'll see you on the other side of the plate. Ciao.